Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Galactic Non-Classics. This is episode number 3457, double number 3351. Got two Marvel trades from two really interesting series. First of which is What If? The Complete Collection, Volume 2. There's actually an issue in here that is not collected yet. Let's talk about that briefly. Because, of course, Marvel, for some weird reason, do not know the reason for it, but they decided to... Actually, was legal issues of the reason for this, so we're going to first talk... Before we talk about, believe it or not, the main trade itself, let's briefly talk about What If Issue 16. By the way, the actual trade itself, What If the Complete Collection of Volume 2, collects issues... 13 to 15 and 17 to 23. Yeah, so basically, issue 16, which is written by, believe it or not, I thought this was really cool, the fact that Marvel at the time got a chance to do this. You have Doug Moloch got a chance to write this because he did create the character, so why not? So you have him doing the writing, you have Rick Herberg on the artwork. So, mostly put, it's what if Shang-Chi, Master Kung Fu had remained loyal to Fu Manchu. Now, there actually is a reason why Marvel can't legally collect this trade. Fu Manchu, who is a character not owned by them, but yet, for some weird reason, at one point, get this, so, at one point, Marvel did collect the original Master Kung Fu. They collect the whole thing in omnibus, the entire book, and then when it comes to the Epic Collection, they did release 2 volumes. They were set to release a 3rd volume, and then the book got canceled for some weird reason. I do not know the reason for this. It was kind of weird. I'm not really sure why. I think the book was supposed to go to issue like issue 75, I think it was, and the book just got canceled. Don't know the reason why. I did read the first trade for the thing. So instead of basically turning against his father, he's basically working for him. And basically he just fights alongside of him and basically deals with various martial arts threats. I do enjoy the artwork here. Yes, it is the 70s, mind you, but it's just stays loyal to his father, beats some guys up. It's basically an opposite of Special Marvel Edition 15. That's basically what this is ultra version of. But I found some weird creature. Now Shang-Chi himself. Now here's the thing. He could be like any comic he appears in can be legally collected, no problem. Any book with his name on it can be collected, no problem. Mostly. Except for Master Kung Fu, the original book. And this is all because of Fu Manchu. Though, in the case of the Avengers, they later retconned that Fu Manchu was an alias. Yeah. So, by the end, he does basically go with people he does work with in the main book. And it's a really interesting idea. So, now we move to the main issues. The writers are Roy Thomas, Gary Frederick, Don Gelt, Marv Fulton, Stephen Grant, Peter Beguiles, Tom DeFalco, Dale Mansell, Mark Greenwald, Steve Skeets. Artwork, John Bushma, Herb Champion, Colin Fantino, Tom Sutton, Pat Broderick, Alan Kupperberg, Gene Cohen, Fred Kita, Walt Simonson, Ross Audru, George Perez, and Ron Wilson. Now, of the writers, guess which one of these writers who have actually met? Peter Beguiles. Yes, I met before he passed away. For the artist, I have met Pat Broderick. I have seen George Perez. I never met him before he passed away. And I met Ron Wilson. Cool guy. So, first is issue 13. What if Conan Barbarian walked on Earth today? Now, this is something I did briefly. Now, the thing is, before I met Peter Beguiles at Comic Con, This is back, I think it was in 2018, 2019, one of these cons. The picture they put for him is Conan with a gun, which is taken from this very comic book. Yes. And the concept of this is like, oh, what if Conan came to modern day? This actually would happen in the mainstream universe. In Seven Avengers. And launched like 2 side books. It was awesome. So yeah, this is written by Roy Thomas. Giles himself didn't write this thing for some reason, but he does talk about this one. You probably knew about this one per se. So I guess they picked that one because why not? So mostly Conan fighting barbarians, and he's in the present day. Because he got this little time travel thing, which he did do in his regular books. He did, except he went to the time of Puritans, and of course, basically, he's speaking language. He does also sleep with a woman here, a taxi driver, a very beautiful female taxi driver, which, by the way, in present day, he would sleep with various women in present day in the books. And the frequent Blackout City, which, of course, basically, they're looking for him because he's basically different. And at one point, Conan's in his leotard in her apartment. They make out. And I am assuming these two had sex because she's put her shirt back on. Yep. So there's looters, and Conan has to deal with them. Really cool issue. And if you're really curious, does Conan go back to the Hybern times by the end of the book? Well, he does. And for some reason, he keeps a hat. Yeah, he keeps a policeman's hat for reasons. And by the way, the woman who has this book never pops up ever again. Issue 14. What if Sergeant Fury fought World War II in outer space? Okay, this is interesting. This was really cool. This is, of course, written by Gary Frederick and Don Geller by Harold Trampy. Mostly put, it's basically just Nick Fury fighting Nazi aliens in space. Though, of course, Nick Fury would kind of do this in present day, fight threats in space. This actually happened in the original sin where he became the man on the wall. But this was a really good issue. I love this one. It's a shame, basically, they never did this in the main book. But they basically did present day where he actually would go to space and fight alien threats. Really cool. Amazing issue. Even a little robot here. So, and then for issue 15. What if Nova had been 4 different people? And the cover reads Nova taking on Kingpin, Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Mr. Fantastic, Red Skull, Ben Grimm. So you have 4 different tales. So this is done by Marv Wolfman, and he would do this because he did create Nova. Makes sense. You also have John Bushma and Joe Singh on the artwork, which interesting. So instead of Richard Rayner, he goes to adventures like what was something else like. Yeah, and of course this woman is drinking, and well, then we see Nova with long red hair. Yes, I believe this is So yeah, the whole thing with Nova having long red hair, that would actually happen in the mainstream continuity. Yeah, Rich Ray himself will grow that type of hair. So just a woman who basically her name is she ran the life as Frank Taylor. So then she fights the Kingpin, which really cool, and apparently kills him. Yeah, even fights the Thing. Yeah, then she's taken out. And then we have another guy, a homeless man, where, and the scrolls over here too, and he's like very kind, and he kind of becomes Nova. Now, in case you're curious though, would it be a Black Nova in the mainstream continuity? No, not that I can think of, but the whole thing of also red hair, Rich Ray would have that too, not only that, but also there would be female Novas, so you could say, yeah, this did predict something. So, and then we have one Nova who is apparently Peter Parker. Yes, Peter Parker. Spider-Man becomes Nova, where he uses his power to stop the burglar. Yeah, like, that's interesting. Yeah, so basically, it's just Spider-Man basically being Nova. Okay. Yeah, and things actually, what if Shang-Chi sort of with you? Well, that's not here. I have to review it separately. And then we have issue 17. What if Ghost Rider, Spider-Woman, and Captain Marvel were villains? Yeah. Written by Stephen Grant, art by Colin Fantino. Like, what now, in the case of Spider-Woman, so what she get full-blown villain? Actually, I think she first started with Ghost Rider. He fights Damien Hellstrom, where he's like a full-blown villain, which is a very interesting idea. Now, the whole thing of Johnny Blaze being a villain, this would kind of happen in present day. As a matter of fact, this actually was something that happened in Jason Aaron's Avengers, where he briefly was a villain for Robbie Reyes when he was the King of Hell. Now, Spider-Woman become villain. It's like, this here is also taking a Marvel Spotlight 32, which is her day appearance, by the way. And also, I remember, though, from the original issues, for some weird reason, Jessica Drew had a white streak in her hair that later disappeared. Yes. Years later, the streak was removed, and artists have completely forgot she had it. So, then she just becomes, like, here she is with her white streak in her hair. Yeah. It is completely random. And basically, she works for Hydra and does Hydra missions. Actually, that's Contessa. And mostly put, she becomes a full-blown villain because people don't like the fact of what she does. And then she just goes off, does her own thing. In the case of Captain Marvel, well, if it's robots, and basically, there's even Carol Danvers. You're probably thinking, now he ends up fighting Rag, one of his old foes. And I think he actually gets killed by... It's the whole thing with this... It's like, the other one kind of felt like basically the villain is probably Ghost Rider 2. Didn't really feel like it at all. So, 18. What if Doctor Strange become a disciple of Dormammu? Yes. And a take where, like... And also in this story, for some weird reason, because of him becoming a disciple of Dormammu, he starts a relationship with the woman who in the Prime Universe is his mother-in-law. Yes, Dormammu's sister. Yes, for some weird reason that he would do that. And he becomes evil, because why not? Now you're probably thinking that... Now, the thing is, the book is written by Peter Giles, Hideo Thompson, and also for some weird reason, he's really a bit less arrogant than he was many years before he lost his hands. And then, well, yeah. And then, of course, he's convinced to join him. Well, Dormammu anyways. But it's a very interesting take. But as for, like, why in the world would they have it where, like, Dormammu basically offers Judah his hot sister? Even though in the Meiji universe, Dormammu basically probably knows the fact that his arch enemy is married to his beautiful niece, which he has two nieces, by the way. Yeah, it's a really cool issue fighting Eternity here. But at the end, basically, Doctor Strange just sees his ways and becomes a student of the Ancient Ones again, as story goes out there. And then we have, what if Spider-Man became a crime fighter? Yeah, where he actually, get this, he actually did catch the burglar before he killed Ben Grimm, Ben Parker. So, he becomes a celebrity. Also, his face changes too, because I don't know what the heck he does. Like, apparently after he stops the burglar and, well, there's other stuff, reveals an uncle that he's Spider-Man. And, oh, he's an actor. And he's acting like a full-blown celebrity. And then they show Peter's face in here. I'm like, really? Because of like he's so arrogant, of course, you have this one point, you turned up and was like, yeah, let's basically just put him on a pitchfork. Okay, this is kind of funny. Yeah, and then we show Peter's face. And I'm like, what the heck happened to his face? Like, yeah, that's Peter. You're thinking, that's not Peter. According to this book, it is. Yeah, it's weird. And it's like, James, it's like, yeah. It's a very interesting idea for this one. And by the end, of course, his face should and we have, what if the Kree War, Avengers for the Crews without Rick Jones? Okay. Tony Falco, Alan Cupberg. Interesting they didn't have Roy Thomas do this because he didn't write the original one. Yeah, so Rick was killed early in the war by Ronan Accuser, and, well, the Avengers actually lose. So, like, they contact the whole world for help, and it's a really cool, action-packed issue. Iron Man himself does get sort of killed here. Now, do the heroes lose because no Rick Jones? The answer is, well, they lose a few people, including Spider-Man. And then move on to issue number 21, where it is, what if the Invisible Girl of Fantastic Four married the Submariner? Yeah, it's a sequel to issue 1, where they're one team in Fantastic Four, Spider-Man has quit the team, no explained reason why. Sue has left Reed to be with Namor because apparently she's in love with him, and then reveal, oh, she's pregnant, and yeah. Yeah, because okay, so apparently Spider-Man is back with the team. Apparently, so but the team introduced to four due to Sue leaving them, and then Spider-Man quits the team because, well, of indifference. So then Reed basically tries to do his way to get the woman he loves back, and Namor, like, they constantly fight the whole book. And Lady Dorma's here, who in the mainstream continuity would actually marry Namor, become his very first wife. Which, here's the weird thing. Despite the fact he did kind of marry her, he did and did not. On paper, he did marry her. Except that he actually married somebody else in disguise. So, he was, on paper, married Lady Dorma, but she died before he can even give her the first kiss of a couple. And here she's just a friend. And a lot of the book, and basically, oh, and also the fact that Lady Dorma is married to an Atlantean nobleman. And by the end of it, Sue gives birth to a baby boy. And he has pointed ears. And Reed is like, I should have been the father, not anymore. And he fails. Moving on to issue 22. What if Doc Doom became a hero? So, it's all to take what happened with issue 4. With the whole thing of like, Doc Doom. So, basically, it turns out that in this continuity, so Victor was accepting of Reed's help, so we can make sure he wasn't. So, experiment was successful, and his face was not damaged. So then he basically puts on this outfit, and he claims he's Doctor Doom. And then he proceeds to overthrow the rulers of the country, proclaims that the ruler. Also, Mephisto's here because reasons. And he's here with two beautiful women who he just tosses aside. So, it's really cool. I actually really enjoy this whole thing. He ends up marrying his, basically marries Valeria, who in the main show that he never got a chance to because she died. But this one overall was really good. I actually really enjoyed this. This issue here. Now, in case you're curious, though, would Doctor Doom ever become a hero? Yes, he would. In Miss Iron Man. In 2017, I think it was. Yes. So, the whole thing of, like, this, Doctor Doom become a hero, that would happen. But not as Doctor Doom, you do as Iron Man. And then we have, what if the Hulk had become a barbarian? That's the cover, and then basically it's like, what if Hulk's girlfriend should not die? Yeah, basically this is like, written by Peter B. Giles, or written by her champion. It's like, what if Jor did not die in issue 200 of Incredible Hulk? What if she actually lived? Which, very interesting. I actually kind of like this. Do I think this should have main continuity? The main continuity? Probably not. This is fine for what it is. But, interesting they did this. Good on basically them doing it. And then you have a backup story in here about the first Celestial host. Yes, it's collecting the Eternals. Really cool to put this. They kept this in here. And then we have a. What if Aunt May became her nephew? Peter. What it became? He became React Spider. Yeah, basically it's her becoming Spider Lady. Which this, believe it or not, technically would not have in mainstream continuity, but this would kind of be part of Spider-Verse with this whole thing with Spider-Man. Yes. Which, this was really cool. I like the fact they did this. And that's it. All in all, really good book. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I give What If, the complete collection, a 10 out of 10. Along with the Shang-Chi issue, I'll give that a 9. Alright, next up we have is Amazing Fantasy by Carrie Andrews. Yeah, just simply call it Amazing Fantasy. But I love the artwork here. Yeah, this is a 5-issue third volume for Amazing Fantasy. Now, of course, obviously the first volume of Amazing Fantasy was the debut of Spider-Man. Yeah. And then the second volume was a 20-issue ongoing, which is 15 of that volume was double sized because 15 issues. So, yeah. Also, there was also 17, 16, 18. So, yeah, Carrie Andrews and the writing here. He also has some artwork too. Yeah, he's also the artist too for this one. So, first issue, Arrive, which you have a barbarian Thor. So, the first issue is set during World War II. We have Captain America on a ship, gets knocked off by various stuff. He ends up on and become a castaway island where he's got long hair and a beard. Basically fights creatures in it, like fighting a griffin, fighting a dragon. Yes, a dragon. And then the Soviet Union, where we find Black Widow. Yep, Black Widow. Yep. Oh, by the way, Black Widow is actually immortal. Yeah, the reason why she's ageless, along her and for her, it's because of the. It was not mentioned at the time. The Red Room thing was actually something that was actually a bigger creation. So the reason why she's able to live as long as she has and remain completely ageless is because of the Red Room formula's treatment of her, and also the fact she can't have children. Yes. I'm sure she probably has wanted to have kids, but she just hasn't. And then, of course, there's a brief mission for her. And then we see, I believe his name is, who in present day became a villain, and was also in love with her, which she later killed him. Not because of that, because he became a villain. And then we episode with Spider-Man fighting the Green Goblin, which becomes really weird, and then Captain America takes, then we have Cap on that island. He runs into a beautiful cave woman. So, yeah, basically it's like, oh, let's have Captain America from Caveman. You have Spider-Man being brought here. You have Black Widow brought here. Basically, the stars of this book are just Cap, Black Widow, and Spider-Man. It's basically them in an amazing fantasy setting. It's overall like, you have Peter hanging out with this gorgeous orange scale woman in this this tribe, and then we have, looks like a possible wedding, look like this woman's being part of. Not the Steve, mostly, with some other guy. I gotta admit, this book was a lot of fun. Lots of fun. I enjoyed the artwork. It's a lot of really good fantasy storytelling with this thing. And interesting choices for lead characters. Cap, the Cap, Spider-Man, and Black Widow. Very interesting choices. I love all this. I think Carrie Andrews did a pretty good job with this one. I get this roughly a 10 out of 10. I love this. Okay, so that is pretty much a particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I will see you tomorrow for more Toji Oni anime, Togen anime, and also Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, nice view. Bye.